Super Mario Bros., Sonic the Hedgehog, Crash Bandicoot. These are all classic games that have existed since very early on in gaming history, and became later known as platformers. Platforming games are very popular, but which platformer is the best? Well, first, let me introduce you to a little guy named Rayman. First introduced in 1995 in the game Rayman for PS1, Atari Jaguar, and Sega Saturn, and having received many games following it, whether in the main series or one of the many spin-offs, or with the Rabbids. Rayman Origins was the series' 2011 reboot. 2 years later, Rayman Legends was released, and improved upon everything: art style, gameplay mechanics, characters, and it was packed full of content. 6 new worlds, a challenge system, and it had the entire Origins game redone in the new art style and put into the game for no extra cost in the base edition. And do you know what else you can get for no extra cost? A subscription to me, the coolest channel on YouTube. So press it, otherwise you aren't a legend. Get it? Cause Rayman Legends. What else was included in the game, I hear you ask? Well, it included the Premier League. Anyway, the point is, this was by far the best game in the series, and I'm also convinced that it's the best platformer to ever be made. While perhaps a little less well known, Rayman Legends is by far the best. As you can tell, I'm not 27 years old, so Legends was my first introduction to Rayman. I was drawn to the game because of its art style, fun looking characters, and overall charm, and I bought it in about 2014 and recently revisited it for nostalgia's sake. I'd recommend playing through this game with a friend, or 3, because it adds to the chaos and makes the game even more enjoyable than it already is. The worlds in Rayman Legends each have a theme, for example the first being medieval, the second a swamp, the third themed around food and Mexico, and so on. The levels are quite short, but there are an abundance of them. Main levels, rescue levels, even secret levels, and they're all so fun to play. While rather linear, each level somehow manages to pack in so many little details and secrets that you may miss on your first playthrough, all into a really small and compact level. But once you know what you're looking for, they become so apparent. In each main level you will have to collect at least 600 lums, which are the currency in this game. You must also rescue 10 teensies, which is an extra collectible sort of thing. In about half the levels you're aided by Murphy, who is what would happen if Tinkerbell and a frog did the deed. Murphy will help you by moving obstacles, eating food, rotating wheels, slapping enemies, or tickling ogres? Rayman Legends' platforming is original. Despite being easier than most other games in the genre, I think that a harder difficulty is important for platformers. It just seems really odd to have a platforming game be easy. While there are difficult sections every so often, the game should be designed to be harder because it works better for that specific type of game. Some puzzles are scattered around, they're relatively easy, but still will make you stop to think for a bit. What Rayman Legends does really well compared to other games in the genre is introducing many new mechanics, like shrinking, flying, zip-lining, and swimming, just to name a few. And a new one is introduced about every world and sometimes even partway through one. The levels are designed in a great way in order to implement these mechanics and chain them together perfectly, as if the levels were made to use all the mechanics' potential to their fullest. They're such a fun experience to play, requiring a good amount of momentum to wall run or slide to avoid obstacles, and giving you a sense of speed and extreme coolness when you pull it off without messing up. Controls are well mapped, meaning you can be jumping and running without it being difficult to attack at the same time. The actual enemies are one of my few complaints with the game. They are way too easy to beat. Most of the enemies simply stand still, leaving you time to plan, yet also not threatening you by walking around and attacking. They only attack if you're near them or run into them, otherwise they pose no threat whatsoever and are really easy to kill. Otherwise the bigger enemies are about the same, simply requiring you to go via Murphy to weaken them. I found the only challenging enemies to be the ones who shoot things, bosses, and the thorn ones. But I generally found the environments to be more dangerous than the actual monsters that are meant to kill you. There are 6 worlds, and in 5 of them there are a good amount of levels, maybe 10 main ones, which are all unique and fun levels based around the world's themes. Also in these worlds there are 2 or 3 rescue levels where you must play through the level to save a princess, which then becomes a playable character. However, there are also many secret levels, which appear as you get closer and closer to completing all the main ones. There are about 5 of those per world that appear in smaller paintings next to levels, and these are invaded levels, where evil has taken over that level, so you must go through a shortened remixed version of it. However, these levels usually are rather challenging, as you must complete the level in under 40 seconds in order to rescue all the teensies for that level. These were very fun levels I enjoyed playing over and over again to get a better time than I had in the last. At the end of each world there is a music rhythm level, which are my favourite level in the game. All the jumps, attacks and zip lines are perfectly timed with the levels. And what's more, the music is all perfect remixes of popular rock and classical songs using the Rayman musical style that the rest of the game's music is made with, and they all sound incredible. It's basically just Geometry Dash at home. You may have heard that at the beginning of this section I'd said that there are 6 worlds and 5 of them there are. So, what's in the 6th world? Now, this is the only world in the game that requires a certain amount of teensies, which are an optional collectible, to unlock, and a substantial 400 out of 700 at that. This is because it's a much smaller world and considered a bonus world, due to the fact that the credits roll at the end of the last one. So, what is kept locked away in this world for only the best Raymen to discover? Well, it's a world with one entirely new music level and 8-bit remixes of all 6 music levels in the game, which at the same time also fixes the one issue that I had with those levels: they were too easy. These levels use unique filters and mechanics to switch up the levels and make them a lot harder, yet also more fun. It took me 3 days of attempting to get them all, and all of the songs are remixed to sound 8-bit. Earlier I mentioned the fact that you can rescue princesses for them to become playable characters, which brings me to the Heroes Gallery. Rayman Legends has many different playable characters to choose from. You have many variations of the 3 main characters Rayman, Globux and a Teensy, which you unlock from reaching a certain milestone of lums collected. Then, upon completing each princess level, of which there are about 2 in each world, you unlock many different princesses who also become characters for you to play and explore the world of Rayman as. Another small yet cool feature in the game is that upon earning 450 lums in each main level, you'll get a lucky ticket which you use the DualShock 4's touchpad to scratch. You're guaranteed to win at least something from each one, whether it's a teensy rescued, some more lums, an Origins level or a creature. Creatures are another collectible which you unlock from the lucky tickets. They're split into 5 or 6 families and produce lums for you to pick up. Once you have all of them, it's a pretty useful money making feature. In the game there are 2 more pretty small features. Kung Fu is a small extra game mode where you can play a Rayman style unique football match with your friends in 2D, so you don't get anything from it, and it's very simple. But it's a fun thing to do with your friends to take a short break from the main levels. However, there is also the Challenges painting. In this painting there are both daily and weekly challenges where you compete online with other players, of which many actually participate in still to this day, and depending on how far you get, you'll earn a bronze, silver, gold or diamond trophy, which will earn you lums once the challenge ends. These are rather fun to participate in, and there's a wide variety of different maps and game modes that rotate every week, so check it out. And finally, the Origins levels. As I said earlier, the entire Origins game has been remade and put into Legends for free, and these levels are so damn fun. In fact, I think that a lot of these levels are more fun than those in the main game. You must unlock Origins levels by getting a painting from the lucky tickets. This will then unlock the next level that you don't have for a random world. And the variety never ends because all of these worlds also introduce new enemies, mechanics, teensies to rescue, worlds and platforming. It's very nice to have so much content in a single game for no extra cost, and so much fun to do even after you've done all the main levels. And that is why I think that Rayman Legends is the best platformer game. And I probably didn't do it justice, but either way, go buy the game. It's worth it. Subscribe, bye.